Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at Kafka on the Shore.
Oh, Kafka on the Shore.
Yeah, it's a great pick. Our listeners sent in excerpts from that Murakami novel.
Murakami, huh?
Yeah, and we're going to try to find the themes and the characters.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be interesting. So I guess, where do we even begin with this one?
Well, I think we start with the main character, Kafka Tamura.
Okay, Kafka Tamura.
And right away, you get this this blend of realism and surrealism that Murakami's known for.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like when Kafka finds that childhood photo.
Right. The photo.
It's a happy scene, a day at the beach.
Like a normal happy family.
Exactly. But he has no memory of it.
Zero.
Which is so strange.
It's like a missing piece of his own life.
Yeah. And it's not just a missing memory.
What do you mean?
It's like there's something deeper.
Like a secret or something.
Maybe, yeah, almost ominous. Like this blank spot in his past that he's not supposed to remember.
Whoa.
And that sets the stage for this theme that runs through the whole book. How much can we trust our memories?
Right. Can we trust our memories? Are our memories even real?
They can deceive us, maybe even protect us from things we're not ready to face.
Oh, wow. That's kind of scary.
It is, right? It makes you think about what else Kafka might not be remembering.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So much is hidden.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you've got this cast of characters. So strange.
Like who? Who comes to mind?
Well, like Satoru Nakata.
The one who talks to cats.
Yeah. He can talk to cats, but it's not just, like a cute, whimsical thing.
Right. It feels like it means something more.
It's more like a metaphor. Like he sees the world in this completely different way. He operates outside the norms of society, and that gives him this unique perspective.
You think that's why he can talk to cats?
It could be. And his search for that missing cat, Goma, it leads him to Johnny Walker.
Wait, Johnny Walker? Like the whiskey? That's a weird name.
It's not a coincidence.
So what's he like? What's he doing?
He's collecting cat souls.
Cat souls?
What? Yeah, to build a flute.
That's disturbing.
And it's not just disturbing. The way Murakami describes it is almost ritualistic.
Ritualistic.
Like Johnny Walker has this unsettling philosophical justification for what he's doing.
Like he's the bad guy.
He forces us to confront this darker side of human nature. It makes you think, is evil something we're born with?
Oh, wow.
Or is it a choice we make?
And what does that even mean? You
Yeah.
know? What does it mean to be evil?
Right. And what does it say about our relationship with the natural world?
Okay, so we have Nakata, who's like this innocent, in tune with nature kind of guy. And then we have Johnny Walker, who represents this darker force.
Exactly.
But then there's also Oshima, the librarian, who's like Kafka's mentor, right?
Oh, yeah. Oshima. He's like this guide through this labyrinth of symbols.
Yeah, I can see that.
And all these strange events, he connects the dots between things you wouldn't think were connected. And he offers these really insightful philosophical observations.
Right. He's always making you think. He makes you question your own assumptions about reality,
Exactly. It's like he's the voice of reason in this increasingly surreal world.
I like that. The voice of reason. That's good.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the enigmatic Miss Saiki.
Right. The one who wrote that song.
Yeah. Kafka on the Shore.
Yeah.
Which plays a pretty pivotal role. It connects Miss Saiki and Kafka across time.
Across time? How do you mean?
It suggests this deeper connection between them, maybe even supernatural.
Interesting.
And it highlights the power of music. Music can transcend boundaries.
Yeah.
It can evoke emotions, memories, things that words sometimes can't express.
It's like music becomes this this thread that weaves through the story.
I like that. A thread.
Connecting the characters and themes in ways you wouldn't expect.
Exactly. And then you've got characters like Colonel Sanders, which just, come on.
Right. That's so weird. It makes you wonder what Murakami's thinking.
I know. These seemingly absurd characters, they challenge our expectations, right? They force us to question what's real and what's imagined. But even in their absurdity, they're grappling with these really profound questions about existence, about meaning.
It's like Murakami saying, hey, don't dismiss the stuff that seems ridiculous. Even in the weird, the unexpected, there might be some deeper truth.
I think that's a good way to put it. And one of the most intriguing events in these excerpts is the Rice Bowl Hill incident.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that. What was that?
It's this strange event where 16 school children lose consciousness.
Including Nakata.
Including Nakata.
Wow.
While they're on a field trip.
Okay.
And it's shrouded in mystery.
Totally.
There are theories. Some people think mass hypnosis, maybe even a military experiment gone wrong.
Whoa.
But Murakami never gives us a definitive answer. It's like this crack in the fabric of reality.
A crack in reality.
And it leaves us wondering about the limits of our understanding. Like, how much do we really know about the world?
And about what's possible.
Exactly.
It's this inexplicable event that, like, kicks off a chain reaction of all these strange occurrences. And it makes you wonder, how much control do we really have over our lives?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a question that Murakami keeps coming back to in different ways throughout the book.
And I think it's something we all struggle with to some extent.
Absolutely.
So we've got, like, a missing cat and a cat soul flute and a mysterious illness and all these characters who are searching for something. What do you think about how their paths all connect?
Well, the way Murakami intertwines the journeys of Kafka and Nakata, that's what's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Both of them, they're driven by this, like, the sense of, like, something missing in their lives, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kafka, he's running from that dark prophecy.
Right, the prophecy from his father.
Yeah, a prophecy that's, like, drawing him toward a confrontation.
That he doesn't even understand.
Right, and Nakata.
He's looking for the cat, right?
He's searching for Goma, but he's also, I think, trying to figure out, like, where he fits in.
After the Rice Bowl Hill incident?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like they're both looking for their true identities.
Exactly. They're both trying to piece together who they are and where they belong.
And then there's this idea of the entrance stone.
Oh, yes. The entrance stone.
Can you talk about that a bit more?
Well, it's central to the story, right? It's like a threshold between worlds.
Between worlds, literally.
It's almost like a physical thing, a manifestation of those blurry lines that Murakami creates between reality and dreams.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean. So, like, those lines get really blurry in this book.
They really do. And it makes you think, what if you could just, walk through a doorway into another world?
That's trippy.
What would you want to find there?
Good question. What parts of yourself would you leave behind?
And what would you bring with you?
Oh, I like that.
It's a question that sticks with you.
Even after you finish the book, I bet.
Absolutely.
Makes you think about choices and, like, the path we choose.
The paths we choose. And we get hints that both Kafka and Nakata, they might have this ability to pass through the entrance stone.
So they can travel between worlds?
It makes you question what's really real.
Right.
Are they actually traveling between worlds?
Or is it, like, all a metaphor for something deeper?
Exactly.
Like maybe a journey into the subconscious or something.
That's a really interesting idea, like a way of exploring those hidden parts of ourselves.
Right. And speaking of journeys, there's that one scene with Hoshino.
Hoshino,
The truck driver. He's with Nakata.
Yep.
And he ends up guarding the entrance stone, right?
While Nakata sleeps.
Right, while Nakata's sleeping. And then that thing comes out of the forest.
That creature, oh man.
It's so creepy.
It's described as this formless evil.
No heart to stab or throat to choke.
Hey! Yeah. Talk about terrifying.
It's like pure nightmare fuel.
Pure nightmare fuel. It represents something so primal, something outside of our normal understanding.
It's like all the worst parts of humanity, like, combined into one.
Yeah. The things we try to push down but can never really escape.
And then he fights it with a card catalog.
Right.
I mean, come on, that's so Murakami.
It's perfect. This blend of, like, the everyday and the extraordinary.
Yeah.
Like, even in the face of something unimaginable, we can find strength in the most unexpected places.
Exactly. And it also makes you think about knowledge and understanding.
Even when it seems like brute force is the only answer.
But ultimately, it's Nakata who dissolves the creature.
Not by force.
He just touches it.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
It's a powerful moment.
Really sad, but powerful.
Nakata's sacrifice, it shows that true strength, it doesn't come from physical power. It comes from compassion, from willingness to give yourself up for something bigger.
Yeah, for the greater good.
Exactly. And it suggests that there are these forces at work in the universe.
That we don't fully understand.
That maybe guide us towards our destiny.
Oh, that's kind of nice to think about.
Yeah.
So what happens to Hoshino after that?
Well, he's left with this sense of loss.
Yeah.
But also with this responsibility. Like, he has to carry on Nakata's legacy.
I see.
He spends some time with the entrance stone.
Like he's trying to communicate.
Almost like he's communicating with Nakata's spirit. Yeah. And then something incredible happens.
He meets Goma, right?
He meets the spirit of Goma,
The missing cat.
the missing cat.
Yeah.
And Goma, he explains that Nakata's like part of the forest now, existing in harmony with nature.
Oh, wow.
It suggests that death isn't an ending.
But a transformation.
Yeah, a return to this more primal state of being.
That's really beautiful.
It's a comforting thought, and it connects back to this idea of cycles, the cyclical nature of life and death that runs through the whole book.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So where's Kafka during all this?
He's still lost in the forest, still struggling with all the guilt and the confusion surrounding his father's murder.
The prophecy is still hanging over him, right?
Right. He's haunted by it, unsure if he's fulfilled it or escaped it. And then he has this really profound encounter.
With a young girl, right.
Yeah. She seems to exist in both the real world and this otherworldly realm.
I remember that part. And then he watches The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music.
In this, otherworldly cabin. It's so surreal.
It's such a strange juxtaposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
This classic musical against this mystical setting.
It's just so Murakami.
It really is. And it speaks to his ability to blend these things,
The ordinary with the extraordinary?
Exactly. Like he's saying, even in the midst of all this, fantastical stuff, there's still room for the familiar.
Yeah, yeah. So what happens to Kafka?
What happens to Kafka?
Does he find any answers in this other world? So Kafka is in this other world, and he's grappling with his past and trying to figure things out. But that prophecy is still hanging over him. So does he, find any kind of resolution?
He does, but not in the way you might expect.
Oh, how so?
He realizes he can't escape his fate, but he can choose how he responds to it.
Interesting.
He decides to go back to the real world.
So he's going to face the consequences.
Even though he's terrified.
Wow. So much courage.
Yeah.
So he goes back to the library, and Oshima tells him the police are closing in.
Yeah, because of his father's murder.
Right, right.
And this is where Oshima's wisdom really comes through.
What do you mean?
He tells Kafka that he can't run from his past, but he can learn from it.
Learn from it.
He encourages Kafka to, embrace his true self, even the parts that are, messy and confusing.
That's a really powerful message.
It is. It's about accepting those complexities.
The complexities of life.
And finding the strength to move forward even when things feel impossible.
It's like he's saying the only way out is through.
Yeah.
So what happens when Kafka goes to the police?
He confesses.
He confesses to the murder.
Even though he doesn't remember doing it.
Wow. But then what?
Well, just when it seems like he's doomed, the evidence starts to, fall apart.
What do you mean?
His fingerprints aren't at the crime scene.
Oh, wow.
And then this bizarre storm of sardines and mackerel
What?
rains down on the police station.
A storm of fish.
Disrupting everything.
It sounds crazy.
It does, but this is Murakami.
Right.
And in his world, anything is possible.
So, even the universe is on Kafka's side.
It's like the universe itself is intervening.
Creating chaos.
To protect Kafka.
Wow. From a fate he maybe doesn't deserve.
Right.
Makes you think about fate. Maybe it's not so fixed.
Maybe there's room for, chance.
Unexpected turns.
Exactly.
So the charges are dropped.
The charges are dropped.
But he's still carrying, the weight of the prophecy, right?
Right. But he finds some kind of peace.
Where?
With Miss Psyche.
Miss Psyche.
She reveals that she's been haunted by her past, too.
What do you mean?
By loss.
Loss.
Guilt.
What kind of guilt?
The loss of her lover. In a way, they're both living with the consequences of the choices they've made, choices that have led to both joy and sorrow.
It's beautiful but sad.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But they find connection.
In their pain.
Suggesting that maybe even the darkest experiences can lead to these moments of, grace.
Of connection.
Exactly.
Wow, that's really powerful. So Kafka, what happens to him?
Eventually, he returns to his ordinary life.
He goes back to school.
He goes back to school.
But he's not the same, right?
No, he's been transformed by everything he's gone through, by the strange, the profound.
By the journey.
Exactly. He carries the memories of his experiences, both the happy and the painful ones.
And those memories shape him.
They shape his understanding of the world.
It's like all the pieces have come together.
Yeah, it's like he's integrated all these different parts of himself.
The light and the dark.
The light and the shadow.
He's found acceptance.
Wholeness. And that's one of the most powerful messages of the book, I think.
What do you mean?
It's about embracing those complexities.
The complexities of life.
The good, the bad.
The real and the surreal.
And finding meaning in it all.
It's about recognizing that even the most unsettling experiences they can shape us.
into who we're meant to be.
Wow, I like that a lot.
And even when we feel alone, lost, there's always that possibility
Of connection.
of finding meaning in the most unexpected places.
So, dear listener, what about you?
What about you?
If you had the chance to step through Murakami's entrance stone, what would you hope to find on the other side?
What memories would you bring with you?
And what truths would you bring back to share with the world?
Kafka on the Shore really invites us to ask these questions, to explore those hidden depths within ourselves.
To embrace the mystery
the wonder.
at the heart of the human experience,
If you're ready for a deep dive into this world,
where cats talk
fish fall from the sky,
and reality bends to the rhythm of dreams, then Kafka on the Shore is waiting.
and who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe you'll discover your own entrance stone.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Remember, you could submit your own stack of sources anytime.
Anytime.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.